Dear auto selling professionals, once again, you are welcome to view our weekly Auto Selling Club bulletin. We have it edited for sales professionals like yourself. Believe me, this week's news brings greater hopes to your car selling business, especially after the relaxed COVID-19 pandemic lockdown. Agree or not? By the way, before speaking another word, may I introduce myself as Madam Sophia, the virtual assistant to CTM Joseph NG, your sales and marketing e-coach and e-mentor. Now the breaking news. Boon for used car dealers. Petaling Jaya, used cars are in greater demand following a delay in new vehicle deliveries due to the global semiconductor shortage, an essential component for consumer electronics. While used car sales in September recovered over 90% compared to the same month last year, used car dealers also said they had run out of some popular models. Federation of Motor and Credit Companies Association of Malaysia President Datuk Tony Kier said despite enjoying brisk business, the used car market now had fewer cars to sell because of the reduced number of cars being traded in. Southeast Asia supplies 27% of the world's semiconductor chips and Malaysia produces 13%. Annual car production globally is around 90 million units, and this shortage that was caused by the lockdown in many countries affected automakers and impacted new car sales worldwide, including Malaysia. Used cars are in demand now because of this situation. Some of the popular models favored by Malaysians have reduced stock, he said yesterday. Kier said used car dealers enjoyed brisk business from January to May, with sales increasing by more than 10% compared to the same period last year. In June, business dropped 85% year-on-year due to the nationwide lockdown imposed following high COVID-19 daily cases. Then business went down 75% in July year-on-year, he said, adding that the sharp dip was because Paspacom, the computerized vehicle inspection company, was closed during the lockdown, affecting the transfer of car ownership. In August, our business recovered by 70% as more economic sectors were allowed to open and the number of people who got vaccinated rose, he said. Kier noted that there are some 10 million active drivers in the country, and the number was growing each year with first-time buyers, half of whom opted for used cars. He said used Perodua, Mivi and Axia, Proton Saga, and several other models under national car makers were the most sought after, adding that the mid-range models were from Toyota, Honda, and Nissan. Malaysian Automotive Association President Datuk Aisyah Ahmed opined that the increase in used car sales since last year was due to the pandemic as people opted not to use public transport. She said some switched to using cheaper used cars as they did not want to face crowds while taking the bus or train. Used car buyers usually are from the lower income bracket as well as people looking for a spare car for use by family members, she added. Source: The Star Papers, September 13, 2021. Just before leaving you, may I introduce my colleague Madam Florence, another virtual assistant to CTM Joseph. She will present a free chapter of a useful book on selling carefully crafted by the author CTM Joseph. Goodbye from Sophia, first virtual assistant. Thanks.
Thank you, Madam Sophia, for allowing me to wrap up this week's bulletin. Before speaking another word, may I introduce myself as Madam Sophia, another virtual assistant to CTM Joseph NG, the writer of this chapter of book, How to Close Every Sale and Every Time. Enough of my long intro. Without wasting any time, let's go full speed. Shall we? Chapter 10, The Planned Pause, close quote. Few people can stand silence for long and he will feel compelled to say something. By David L. Kurtz and H. Robert Dodge, authors of Fundamental of Professional Selling, book Believe It or Not. The toughest person in the world to sell is one who doesn't talk. Imagine now you are faced the prospect who doesn't talk. Just he or she remains silent. Trust me, and furthermore, the prospect will become unpoised. Few can stand silence. When faced with such situation, you should not fear. As always, buying signs will surface at this precise time. Yes, it is matter of time. So just be patient. Research have proven it is more often than not, silence does require courage on the part of the professional salesperson. By the way, don't be discouraged. Do practice patience, until you can face such dilemma it without difficulty. Ultimately, you will discover you can control him or her with your words when the silence is broken. Moreover, silence will help you to do much to smoke out buying signs, and then you can close sales easily. Remember, silence is golden, is best applied here. Hence, I must say again, it's often pay to remain silent after you have uttered the closing question. And you leave the prospect to make the next move, not you to make the next action. Make no mistakes. Few people can stand silence for long, and he will feel compelled to say something. He may agree to go ahead, or he may tell you that he will think it over. If he is evasive, answer. You should then immediately try to establish just what it is that he needs in think over. Is it the price? Is it the delivery date? This will give to another chance to close. The professional salesperson always tries to maneuver the prospect into a position where it is more reasonable to yes than no. He knows that you can't win every time, but he has to believe that himself that he can. After a period of silence, he may or may not agree to go ahead. He may tell you that he will think it over. If he is evasive, try to establish just what it is that he needs to think over. Is it the price? Is it the expiry date? This will give you another chance to close. In all honesty, it's important to know what is blocking the sales to the would-be customer. It is assumed that you have many answers to many objections. By directly overcoming the final objection with the right answer, there is a better chance that the sales may be closed. Agree or not? That said, it is important to repeat the salient points in this chapter. Alright. Summary. To recap in a neat nutshell, we must bear in mind that the toughest person in the world to sell is one who doesn't talk. Another areas to repeat is that any person or prospect will always become unpoised. To be clear, silence does require courage on the part of the professional salesperson. To repeat, silence will help the sales professional to do much to smoke out buying signs. In other words, few people can stand silence for long, and the prospect will feel compelled to say something. Ultimately, the salesperson must remember it's important to know what is blocking the sales. Does it make more sense now? A big yes, if you ask me. Next, conclusion. It goes without saying, this all-important paragraph is the icing of a beautiful cake. With it, it does drive home the point that planned pause is just as important as the rest of close highlighted in this book. Personal, I have always used this planned close technique, but I must say it is difficult, as requires a steady mind and strong heart to ask the closing question and yet not say another word. Difficult but not impossible. Agree or not? To round off this chapter, may I leave you this powerfully. In the words by Alice Hyman, the founder and chief sales energizer, closing with silence is a most powerful influence in controlling silence. Nature abhors a vacuum, and silence must be filled. Many times, an effective close put the prospect into the role of being the salesperson. All things considered, then I shall close this chapter gracefully. Till we meet again, it is a heartfelt goodbye. End of chapter 10. Before we part company, I am reminded by CTM Joseph to tell you that if you are interested in getting his book, How to Close Every Sales and Every Time, you can WhatsApp him at 601238788592 or email him at josephsing@gmail.com. Alright. Thanks and happy selling. Until we meet again, this is Florence, CTM Joseph NG, and Madam Sophia say goodbye to you. Okay.